Mrs. Schauder, Medita is fine. The daughter of Dr. Molly, I know she spent many years coming to 3D. And does she come, has she been here as well?
No, she hasn't been to this center.
Okay.
But she has been to St. Elizabeth and she's always in Spanish Town.
Yes. And we're also part of the group of Organization for International Development, OID. Anybody familiar with them?
Yes.
Yeah, so
So that's the organization with Dr. Street.
With Dr. Street.
OID?
yes, but Dr. Street says 3D has a special place in his heart. And he sends his love and he sends a few other things that I'll give to you later. But when I was younger and traveling with the OID team, my job was to hold the flashlight during extraction. So it's nice now to see that, you work hard in school and I can come and give back to an organization so dear to my family and dear to our organization. What else can I say about myself? I've been an occupational therapist for about 10 years. I started working in a hospital first, and physical dysfunction. People have had strokes, spinal cord injury, brain injury, Parkinson's disease, MS. And so those patients in the hospital, when they came to us, would get 3 hours of therapy a day. Okay, so they would get an hour and a half or an hour of occupational therapy, an hour of physical therapy, an hour of speech therapy. They would live in the hospital until they got well enough to go home, a nursing home, or a lower level of therapy. And then after I left that hospital at NYU, I started to do some home care, working with children, and then evaluating patients from another hospital to go to rehab. Okay, so now in terms of my education, I'm back in school again. No surprise, right, with Dr. Molly as my mother. And you have to come up with your own project. What do you want to do that's going to show that you are the doctorate level and you've mastered something? And so you have to pick your own topic. And what I wanted to do was more of an outreach. How can I spread what occupational therapy is in places where they don't have many OTs? And in Jamaica, there's less than 10 occupational therapists here. Keep it burning. Keep it burning till the break of day.
He's autistic, but he's on the genius side. So he's 3 years old. However, he's doing like college math or something of the sort. There's no numbers they give to him that he's unable to figure out basically and letters. He knows words way beyond his parents' knowledge and stuff like that.
So that's why why they call it a spectrum, right? It can be from, very mild or very severe. It can be, where you have a lot of cognitive deficits and genius. And it's not when you as like there was never autism around, there just wasn't a label for it. When you think of a genius like Albert Einstein, he probably looked like as a child, but look, he's a genius. Realizing we have more research telling us that kids, and we all learn differently. But the classroom and how we teach has been the same for decades. It just might be a little different even for Anthony, because even though you're trying to pull him in to an activity, during that time that it takes maybe 7 minutes, the other children aren't learning anyway. So what can we do to ensure success for everybody is give him the 2 tasks that he can be successful with for the day, and then move on to the next one. Maybe there's another child who only wants to play with Play-Doh. A lot of work for you to make them all individualized, but I'm wondering once we get it started, could Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday all look the same? And then one day we change something else. I did bring a color printer because I know this is a lot of work that I'm asking you to do. It's going to take time. And maybe you want to be for everybody. Maybe Anthony's the only child you started for because the rest follow you in a group. I saw them kind of when you were doing your song and dancing. A lot of them were with you, but maybe Anthony supposed to was the one that wouldn't have been there. Can he go and sing? And then another lady brought her son who likes to build. Can he go and build? Because they're still learning in their own way. They might not want to, remember? Some of them might be overstimulated by the music time. So I'm going to take this, and we're going to cut them in half. So. That's fine. So then I'm separating two. Then take each one and we're just trying to make 4 pieces. Okay. Take each strip and make 4 pieces. Okay? So you should end up with 4. Alright. 2 of the rough and 2 of the soft. Okay. This is the printer for the Early Childhood Center in Spanish Town.
Thank you so much.
And we hope that it gets, put to good use. And one of the primary reasons for getting this is because we also wanted to make sure that we can sustain a program, not just come here and talk about one, but if we want to, the communication boards and we want to have things in color for the children, it's important just to give you guys the supplies.
Thank you.
So we also have the refill of ink as well here and the connection cord to go to the computer.
Okay.
Okay, so we can make it a more interactive, and I know you have one here, but hopefully wherever this one is stored, it can be used for future training and for the children. I know that you'll put it to good use. We have 1,500 hours of use on the light bulb, so.
Thank you.
It'll be used for quite a long time, okay? Very, very handy. Thank you.
Thank you.